Breaking news, just getting it. I think we're first. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of President Trump on the travel ban. Read that banner. Supreme Court rules on Trump's travel ban in favor of Trump's travel ban. Now, look, we're digesting this. We're getting details as we speak, but I'll repeat it. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of President Trump, who has gone to court over his proposed travel ban. It's come down on the president's side.
It says he has the authority for, was it 5 mostly Muslim-based countries? I believe the court in Hawaii was the one who challenged it, saying that you can't discriminate based on religious beliefs. The president said it wasn't about that. It's about national security. And obviously the Supreme Court agreeing with the president.
OK, I'd like to know what the ruling was. Was it 5-4? Was it 6-1? Of course, we'll have to wait for that. The details are just coming in. Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman, with us this morning, Republican. You're just hearing this raw news come across, Jason. Can you come in and fill some perspective here? It's a Trump victory, bottom line.
Yeah, the president had suffered several blows to this so-called travel ban. I've never thought it was characterized properly by the left. They tried to make it something of a religious tint, but there were countries on that list that didn't fit that bill. And so it's clearly a victory for the president. The president needs to be able to help control the borders and make these determinations as they allow or disallow people from certain countries to come in. And all he was asking for was giving additional, more rigorous vetting of these people.
Hold on a second, Jason.
It seemed very reasonable to me.
I've got Lawrence Jones still with me right here in New York. You've just heard this ruling. It's in favor of the president. He can limit people coming to this country from 5 predominantly Muslim countries. Your reaction, please.
Well, the president has a long range of authority when it comes to immigration. So if you value the Constitution, this was a no-brainer. Now, what they did try to do in this case is they painted the president as a racist because of some of the things that he said during the campaign trail. And what is tough for that is that he had no authority at that period of time. Then the president released this executive order, but it was so much detail of why, especially when you had the Obama administration want to do something similar to this. He didn't say Muslims, but he targeted the same countries. And so they really didn't have a case going into this from the very beginning. I knew the president was going to win on this decision. If the Supreme Court truly valued the Constitution, I'm interested to see what Shannon brings on.
5-4.
5-4.
Yeah. Okay. And that sounds about right. You know, those judges that respect the Constitution, they ruled in favor of the
how do you see this? Jason Chaffetz, back to you. It was a 5-4 ruling in favor of the president. What do you read into that?
I think it'll give the president more authority to go after certain countries where we can't vet people. Remember, we got people coming from all over the world, and they need to be able to be there on the ground and vet these people before they come in. Some of them are going to take 60 or 90 days, which the president was asking for. But somehow the Democrats were fighting against that and filing suits, and you had some rogue judges go in the wrong direction. But this will help clarify it.
Jason, the president went to court saying, I'm doing this on national security grounds. I'm not doing it on religious grounds. I'm doing it on national security grounds. And the court agreed with him. That's a very important ruling.
Yeah, they were trying to dig back, as was said, about some of the campaign rhetoric. But if you look at the reality, some of the biggest Muslim-oriented countries in the world were not on this list. And so to say that it was purely based on that was erroneous from the get-go, and I'm glad the judges recognized that.
On my monitors here in the studio, I've got other networks. I can't hear what they're saying, and I shouldn't be pejorative and guess what they're saying. But my dollar says that they will say that this is a racist ruling. Well,
you know what, they can say whatever they want, Stuart. At the end of the day, the Supreme Court rules based on the Constitution. And there is no doubt the authority that the president has. Earlier today, we were talking about immigration. This solidifies yet again that the president is winning when it comes to immigration in this country. This will be a blow to the liberal Democrats that have swung at the president out of emotion and not of law. And this will once again rally the president's base and say he's fighting for us, and he's doing it from the basis of the Constitution.
Jason Chaffetz, back to you again. There's been extreme opposition, emotional opposition, harassment of Trump people because of the president's position on various issues. I suspect that this ruling from the Supreme Court will intensify that opposition to the president, because they will be coming back and saying, yeah, he is a racist. He is anti-Muslim. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
Well, you're seeing the face of the resistance movement, and it's ugly. It's violent, it's vicious, it's aggressive, it's win at all costs, it's embarrassing, it does everything to harass. I think they way overstep the line when they start picking on staff. I think that is just totally out of bounds. I think some of the calls that Maxine Waters and others have put out there are way, way over the line. I don't think the middle of America, most of America, appreciates that. But I think it is. The resistance movement is the face of the Democratic Party today. I think they're desperate. They're losing their grip on reality. And it's not going to pay off for them in the election in 2018. I think there'll be a real big pushback from America.